What's up, fellow lords of gaming, and welcome back to another episode of Marvel Future Fight. So today we are in that phase of maintenance. We know how long those usually go. So if you're on the East Coast, you got till about 3 in the morning to wait for these. Unfortunately, I will not be up waiting for this to come out. But I'd be remiss to do this. So with the update, what are we getting? Quite a bit, actually. And we're also getting some subtractions from the game, which is a little bit surprising. So let's jump right into talking about this and do it as quickly as possible. Number one is that we are getting Gamora, Drax, and Adam Warlock uniforms, as well as Transcendence for Gamora and Drax. Adam Warlock is receiving his T3, and in a huge surprise to many of us, we're getting a World Boss Legend Infinity Ultron. So if you watch the What If series and you remember the Ultron from there, we're getting that in the game. This is a big surprise because I don't think anybody suspected that at all. And a surprise as well, Danger Room is being removed from the game, peers. We'll see how that plays out. I don't think that is being removed permanently. I actually enjoy playing Danger Room from time to time, but you know, it is there. So let's jump into what we're talking about here. All right. So number one, I think most people across the board are going to be pretty happy to see an Adam Warlock update at this point, knowing that we will probably more than likely get an update for Adam Warlock come 2023 when we get the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, the final Guardians of the Galaxy movie, probably underneath the helm of James Gunn. Will Poulter will be playing the role of Adam Warlock. This is going to be a big update for Adam Warlock regardless. So it's anybody who's a fan is basically gonna want him. And the really good thing is he's looking pretty spiffy and ready to hit PvE and PvP. So let's jump into that. Number one, his uniform is going to be 1,500 crystals, while it's on sale is 2,500, reflecting his native T2 cost. So then we basically look at some of his skills, and we see that his uniform effect is now giving him increased chain hit damage by 15% and increase additional pierce damage by 5%. So he joins Hela and Null in that regard. And then he also gets guard break immunity immediately on his uniform effect. His Savior of the Universe tier 2 passive is now giving him a 70% chance to penetrate instead of the 40% that I believe it was before, and it's adding the decreased basic damage received by 25%. Nothing new here in terms of Soul Wave except for the stun, but on active skill number 2 or Sacred Strike, we're getting a really interesting skill because it has counterattack and enables ignore targeting effect. So along with that, he's also getting incapacitation and paralysis, which ignores immunity, and a nice little HP recovery buff as well. And like I said, you can see that it's giving a counter effect, a counterattack effect, and enables to attack targets who have ignore targeting. This is awesome. It was almost like, I don't think any other character has both those skills on one skill. So it was like, hey, we got the original V skill control, I think, with Adam Warlock. Now we're getting a whole new ability with him. His third skill, Quantum Explosion, is where the damage accumulation happens, and he's getting a 1.1% of increase all basic attack for true damage dealt. This is going to be awesome to see this applied to a V skill that has a manual control for it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how this looks. Mystic Staff is sitting inside here, and you can see it gives a nice decrease all defense down basically for 50%, which is nice. A 100% chance for immunity, which is also nice again. So basically you can see right here that he's getting invincible for 6 seconds on Quantum Explosion. He's getting immunity to all damage for 6 seconds on Mystic Staff, and he's also, I think, getting guard against 20 hits for on his active 5 skill. So between the rotation of these skills right here, you're basically looking at Adam Warlock being immune the entirety of the time while you're casting these skills, which is really, really nice, right? He's got a nice frenzy buff that's sitting here for increase all basic attacks 20, all basic defense by 70, and all speed by 20. So that's really nice inside here. I really think this is going to be really cool. His tier 3, however, I'm going to scroll down here just so I can show you it. His tier 3 doesn't have a lot to be desired on it except the all defense down for 70%. And then you can see he gets another invincible for 10 seconds, and he increases all basic attacks by 40%. That's not a lot. This is probably one of the simplest tier 3 effect skills that I've seen ever. The tier 3 does look amazing. We'll just have to see how this skill plays out overall. But it gives him that invincible, so he's pretty much invincible the whole entire time you're attacking his ass. This is crazy, right? And he's ignoring your targeting. So I've already got a regen on him. I'm looking forward to see how that's going to work out. Gamora is coming in as a supervillain in this update. Make sure that you note that is a supervillain in this update, and her uniform is going on sale for 1,050 crystals. She's got a uniform effect: critical damage increase by 25, increased dodge rate and critical rate by 35 and 30 respectively. And then she's getting an update to her leadership as well for assassination technique, where she's now going to apply 55% increase of physical attack to all speed type characters. You can't complain about that. You really can't. Skilled assassin. The activation rate on this is basically bleed damage. I don't like seeing bleed damage on skills. I already told you guys before. It just doesn't look good. Then we've got Cosmic Enforcer, her tier 2 passive, which is going to increase basic damage dealt to supervillains and superheroes for 45%, while increasing the skill damage by 45. So this is pretty good tier 2 passive that she's got going on now. Cosmic Blade, there's nothing on that skill, but like I said, this is going to be a improvement overall for the character. Fatal Precision is going to have paralysis, which ignores immunity, and then Infinity Slash is going to have her true damage accumulation on that skill for damage dealt. That's pretty nice inside there. Next up, we've got Blade of Wrath, and you can see right here that she's getting that 60% chance to penetrate, 100% chance for immunity to all damage, and then she's getting poison damage on her 5th skill, Universe Ender, with a 60% chance of missing attack, but she also gets a nice 15% recovery of max HP and a pretty decent frenzy buff of 41 and 40. So I don't really know that she's going to necessarily fit into the meta in terms of PvP, but I think she'll be useful overall one way or another for PvE. The really weird thing about this is that because she's a holder of the Infinity Gems, I expected a little bit more, to be honest, but we'll see how she plays out. Drax is going to be a combat superhero inside here, and he's got some really interesting abilities inside there overall. His uniform, he's giving supervillains and superheroes a run for their money because they're getting a 60% bonus damage to their asses, and an increase in skill damage by 40% and bonus damage by 30%. His leadership is effectively remains the same, but there's a significant boost here. So where it ended before at 45%, now it starts at 45%. So 45 and 65 increase of HP. I'm love seeing him paired up with Hulk. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how that's going to work out. And then we get, what do we get here? Decrease all basic attacks by 10%, which stacks up for 30, but you can see there's no immunity on that, ignore immunity. And then all resist and basic defense for 40 and 50 respectively, while we get his Unstoppable Might passive, which decreases the damage received from reflected attacks by 60%, and then he gets a physical reflect as well, which ignores the target's dodge rate by 30% and increases damage dealt to targets with mockery effect by 70%. So if you're not sure what the mockery effect was, it basically forces opponents to attack you. So that's going to be pretty awesome, right? Because he's going to be dealing damage out to targets that have that. The only other character that I know has this skill is the mockery skill is Blue Marvel. So there's probably going to be some pairing up of those characters inside here. Nothing really to write home about on his first skill, Ruthless Violence, or his second skill, Energy Blade Strike. And then you can see Warrior's Taunt is where a lot of stuff is taking place here. So we got Mockery, Stun, Silence, and then we've got 40% recovery of max HP and removes all debuffs. It's really nice to see these recovery effects directly on skills instead of just being put on artifacts. Is something I think we all do not want to see in the future ever again. Hint that Marvels don't put recovery effects there. Dual dagger slash, we've got stun, removes active buff from target, paralysis. There's a lot going on here. Super armor, 100% chance for immunity, and a really nice frenzy buff, 50, 30, 10. That's pretty decent. And then Wrathful Revenge also has stun and silence, 70% chance to penetrate, invincible for 6 seconds, and another frenzy buff of 45, 10, and 20. Like I said, Drax and Gamora were bottom of the barrels, so anything given to the characters is going to be benefit to them overall. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out with those characters. And they also have some pretty decent awakened skills going for them as well. The Milano is summoned in and does some bombardment. I wish they sped up the bombardment animation for Star-Lord, but you know, it is what it is. These characters got some pretty nice buffs overall in here. They're pretty much the same, except that Drax has fracture on his. Now, the beta test it's so weird to consider Danger Room in beta because we've been playing it for the better part of 2 years now, if not more than that, and it's coming to an end. But it's not coming to an end in the way we thought, where it's just going to roll into, you know, not saying beta anymore. It's being removed. So Danger Room is effectively being removed from the game, it looks. I'm assuming for the time being. The good thing is that the rank up materials for, you know, that we were getting as rewards for Danger Room are going to be still included in the Shield special support right here in the rank up material. Not that these things were necessarily something that you were really looking forward to inside the Shield support in the first place. I think I mostly purchased it for the inventory slash, but that's just me. The Dimension Mission contribution rewards for the X Genes are now going to be in Dimension Missions, which is really cool. So where we were playing the game for 7 times before, basically like 420 rounds of Dimension Mission, or like roughly 300 and something energy, now you're going to get to play it for 8, and on that 8th chest you're going to be able to get X Genes, and those X Genes are going to be reflective of your squad rank level. So that's really good. So all of those contribution chests are those X Genes, and those biometrics are going to be included inside there. I think a lot of players will be happy about this because I think it makes it more accessible to a lot of players. I wonder, to be truthful, is this going to be where they start to try to bridge that gap and stop having the mutants be representative of like a separate entity in the game? I really would like to see the merging of resources and things like that, so the X Genes and the biometrics just be available to you, maybe like a X Gene slash biometric, you know, reward or something like that inside there, because it would be nice. So, but it's really weird to think that the Danger Room is being removed as content. I really expect that we're going to probably see this reiterated later on in the future. I hope that we do. The biggest excitement, however, is that we're getting Infinity Ultron. World Boss Legend is coming in. We're going to get an icon for just first clearing him. All on top of that, we're getting the access to a mighty CTP of destruction. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I've actually gotten CTPs from some of the World Boss Legends. I think I've gotten 2 or 3 of them in the, you know, past year and a half, 2 years that we've been playing World Boss Legend, which is really nice when you just run the event and you see that pop up. It's just like one of those excitement things that you get. So it's nice to be seeing that. Now I'm really interested to see how this is going to play out, because you're not going to get biometrics to level up Ultron. Basically, Ultron's a free-to-play character in the first place, so you basically already have him. I'm dying to see if we're going to see a tier 3 mid-month for Ultron with a uniform as well. I was really hoping for, you know, old King Thanos. It looked like that was what we were going to get, but maybe not. Maybe we'll get old King Thanos and Ultron, which would be Infinity Ultron, which would be awesome. But I think people will be happy with Infinity Ultron period as a World Boss Legend and a playable character at some point in the future. So next up about this though is that we're getting a UI overhaul for World Boss. It's well due at this point, especially with the growing number of World Boss Legends that are in the game. So you can see Legend Null, Legend Mephisto, and Legend Infinity Ultron with space for more. Please let it be Legend Thanos. Let's get old King Thanos legendary World Boss inside here. That would just be sick. So let's see that overall. I'm really looking forward to this. I hope you guys haven't played your World Bosses yet, so that way you can take stabs at the dark in them in the morning, or you know, whenever you jump on before the reset, because that'd be nice to be able to just jump in there real quick and get some of those World Boss runs out the way, right? in surprising fashion, and I'm really happy about this. I can say that most of these exclusive artifacts are trash. They're not trash, but you know, they're not like must-haves. Like if you look at Gamora's ignore target dodge rate, Drax's his increase all basic attacks, and even Ultron's his, you know, activation rate 15%. Like these are not necessarily must-haves for these characters. I would say, like, you know, this would be a really good you know, artifact for Adam Warlock if it didn't just recover HP by 2.5%. But you know, like it's still an HP gain. So I'm hoping to get this because I'm a huge Adam Warlock fan. I love the stories reading him. So I really want to go ham on my Warlock, so we'll see what happens there. Really cool excitement is that we're getting a future pass finally with some icons that I actually want. The Nova Force one, I don't really care about the Cosmic Ghost Rider, but the Nova Force one I actually want. So we'll see those inside there. You can see them right here. We all will obtain the Infinity Ultron at some point. The Cosmic Ghost Rider is in the Mythic Pass. The Legendary Pass is Nova, and then this will be in the, you know, token shop in about 2 weeks time or so. So think about it. That is, you can see the improvements that they have, which is mostly surrounding the CTPs and making sure that players understand what the max cap numbers are on CTPs, which is good in my opinion, right? But there's not a lot of other stuff inside here that is going to interest too many players because they've added a way to save teams for Alliance Conquest. I don't know how many players play Alliance Conquest. I know a lot of the top tier whales are doing it, but I'm not really interested in Alliance Conquest. Nothing really to write home about here. I think the one thing that was pointed out by a couple of other content creators was this right here, the issue of effect charm ignoring a specific effect. So basically, you know, the reason why Emma Frost was looking so powerful was because her charm, it was just ignoring this overall. So we'll see how that plays out inside here, but not much other than that. It's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out overall. In the update, we only have a few more hours, or depending on where you are, we got a few hours to wait for it. I'm gonna probably try to jump on this early in the morning, especially to get these world boss legend runs in. I'll record them. I don't think there'd be a point in streaming that shit, so yeah, we'll just get them recorded so I can run some of these world boss legends, hopefully with an Adam Warlock beefed up and ready to go. I hope you guys enjoyed this content. I know you guys don't usually tune in for Marvel Future Fight for this channel. I do want to make a video for you guys because next week is the start of Lost Ark, and there's going to probably be a lot of Lost Ark on this channel coming up. I'm really looking forward to playing that game. You know, I'm a founder purchaser for it. I've been looking forward to that game for over 2 years now. So we'll see where it goes, guys. Hopefully we get some more information or some kind of developers note after the Lunar New Year from the team at Marvel Future Revolution, and we can get you guys some information going on that game because they definitely need it. Until next time, guys.